I just cannot understand politically why both parties or people across the spectrum would be raising such an alarm on immigration, because if we don't change to a more proactive immigration policy, like you said, um, work on the legal immigration system, we're going to have a real problem in 20 years when it comes to how are we going to get the working age population to what we need it to be in order to sustain job growth, and our population is aging at the same time. So we need more young people and more working people, and immigration is key to that. So that's what I have a struggle understanding with, is why our politics and our discussions about this in everyday communities don't take into effect the basic, fundamental truth that's staring us right in the face. Our economy is dependent on good immigration policy.
So as I was writing Crossing Borders, I found myself digging into the emergence of the alt-right, and more specifically Breitbart News. And it was Andrew Breitbart who said culture is downstream from politics, which from my perspective underscored what we've been saying for a long time, is that immigration is not about politics and policy. It's really about culture and values. And what Breitbart, InfoWars, Trump, and so many others on the far right have been able to do is to be able to create a culture war within the country around immigration that then reshapes politics. So, and therefore leads people, I think we would all agree, to vote against their self-interest by being anti-immigrant. But I think in order to turn that around, it's not a political debate. In fact, if we make it a political debate, we are just kind of we're letting people kind of retrench within their political identities. Really, what this is a cultural debate. So how do we help Americans be comfortable with the idea of of their communities becoming more diverse, of their churches becoming more diverse, of their schools becoming more diverse? That's not a political question. That's a cultural question. And for us, our work has always been based on how do you engage that pastor, that police chief, that local CEO to be in a leadership position on those conversations. Because look, I'm the worst messenger, right? I'm a Washington, D.C. based immigration advocate. I'm the least convincing person in the world when it comes to this. But from our perspective, we're always just trying to think about, okay, how do we get downstream from the political debate and try to shift the cultural debate?
I feel your pain because I'm a Washington, D.C. based fiscal advocate. So
you're even worse. Yeah.
I'm in even worse shape. As you were talking, it occurred to me, that almost everybody in this country has roots from immigration, from elsewhere. And in trying to reconcile, I wonder if it helps, or if you've found that it helps to try to get people to think about their own immigrant experience. It might go back one generation, it might go back 5 generations, but we all had some reason that some ancestor, combination of ancestors came here, and the reasons probably weren't that different from the reasons that people are coming here now. And I think that tends to get forgotten. So I wonder if that's any sort of a promising thing by talking about the cultural experience of the past on immigration.
For my first book, Doris Meisner, who ran Immigration Naturalization Services for the Clinton administration, she told me, to paraphrase, people value their immigration history, but they're very skeptical of immigration in the present day. So I think there is kind of a cognitive dissonance for many folks between kind of their own family history and kind of what they're seeing on their screens every single day. And, in the tragedies of the last year, the migration tragedies of the last year, I think what is beginning to emerge is an opportunity. And I'm talking about the evacuation of tens of thousands of Afghans last summer, where you saw this outpouring of support from the veterans community to not just get people out, but make sure they're resettled here. Then you had a deep questioning from those very same folks about how we were treating Haitian migrants who came to the US-Mexico border just a month or two later. And now this terrible war in Ukraine is leading to the exodus of millions of people. So I'm hoping that Americans are realizing that anybody can become a refugee, anybody can become an immigrant, and that our systems in this day and age are completely unable to live up to the moment. So we need Biden and other leaders around the world to take a step back and say, okay, how do we make sure that our immigration, our refugee systems can live up to the moment that we see today and the moments to come?